Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're talking about the myths about the food storage for SHTF. Over the past few years guys, I have had a lot of emails, questions and comments in the videos to where certainly there seemed to be a little bit of misconception about the food storage for long term. So I decided to bring this video out to debunk those myths. So in no particular order guys, let's get on with number one. Number one guys, food storage is too expensive, or aka it's too expensive to prep. Well, if you have a look through my channel guys, and I started this few years back, I did a video right in the beginning where I said that everybody can afford to prep. The key basics of the prepping items at the moment, not at the moment, but generally is like rices, pastas and oats. And those things are still very, very cheap. If you think the half a kilo of pasta you can pick up for 28p, rice is still 52p for a kilo and oats are 90p. They are the staples of any prepping pantry. At the same time guys, yes, of course, if you do go and you spend hundreds of thousands of pounds for the year's worth of supply of food, yes, it is a lot of money. But if you gradually build up your pantry with buying a little bit of extra every week, you can really build up the pantry in no time. So number two on the list guys is the home canned foods are better for long-term storage than tins. Well, another myth, unfortunately guys, yes, the home canned foods are absolutely brilliant. You can can whatever you want, providing you do this absolutely safely. The item's going to be healthier because you can add on vegetables and it doesn't have any additives. Versus the tins that you guys buy in the supermarket, yes, unfortunately they do have a lot of salt, they do have a lot of bulking agents and additives. However, the tins will outlast the home canned goods by far. Yes, I don't argue that the canned goods will last you for very long term, guys, especially if the seal is still sealed, then the canned goods are okay to eat. However, guys, when we're talking about really long-term sprint, I will still trust tins more. And especially when we're talking about the meat, everybody or a lot of people have that fear of botulism when they do canned meats. So still from even that point alone, to be able to stock up on the tins, to me, is better than home canned goods. Though I'm not saying, guys, you should not be canning. Absolutely, I totally actually suggest that you do can your own goods. But when we're talking about emergency and very long time scenario, canned goods are the way forward. Next one on the list, guys, is food storage is complicated. Yes, there is loads and loads of information about what people tell you and selling you different softwares. You say, yes, you can have yourself a spreadsheet, you can download software, the pantry softwares, where you have to scan your tin so you can put the quantities so you know exactly what you have. Totally unnecessary. If you really want to do this, this is absolutely fine. But to many people, this is what actually complicates the whole prepping and the food storage. Myself, guys, I personally do not use a spreadsheet. I do not use any of the software. My tins are in various locations, okay? They are separated by the product or by the food. And all I do, guys, is to rotate. So I have the dates on my tins, okay? So every time I take one from the front, when I buy the new one, it goes to the back. And this is literally as simple as that. There is no need to complicate it unless you really want to. Next one is probably one of the really popular ones, is that people say that the storing your own food or having a food storage in your house will make you a target in a SHTF scenario. I totally agree, guys. If we're talking about, for example, myself, I'm out there and I'm talking about that kind of thing and I'm showing you a lot of things that I have. However, if you think about the general household, if you just generally go to the shop, pick up some extra bits and put this inside your house, first of all, nobody knows that you have food. Secondly, unfortunately, guys, if the SHTF scenario happens, people will be raiding people's houses regardless whether they know you have food or not. It is just how it goes, guys. When people are desperate, people will start breaking into the houses and nicking stuff. If they know you have stuff, they go there first and then they go to the house potentially that doesn't have preps, but they will still have food. So it will still happen. So to say that it makes you a big target, guys, I disagree. If you're off the mainstream, off the internet, and you just gradually put up some bits and bobs and build your prepper pantry slowly, if you don't tell your neighbors, don't tell your friends, just do what you do, guys, just prep. It would not make you any more target than the house next to you. So next one on the list, guys, is people think that all of the foods that you purchase have to be repackaged. Although I strongly suggest to repackage majority of the foods purely due to the contamination on the packages, be it with the bugs or dirt, things like that. However, not all foods need repackaging. Things like rices and pastas, okay, will sit in the original packages for a good couple of years. Again, it all depends what are you preparing for and what are your timelines. So if you only want to have enough food for a few months, okay, then having the rice and the pasta sitting there in the original packaging makes no odds. They'll happily sit there without any issues whatsoever. And of course, guys, there are many products that you can just put on the shelf in the original packaging. When that changes, guys, is when you suddenly decide to put a food away for a very long term for SHTF scenario, guys, then yes, you have to repackage things like rice in a Mylar bag with the oxygen absorber. However, things like pasta, guys, are still a-okay just as they are. So another one, again, is quite a popular one. There seems to be misconception on the dates on your tins and in fact some other products that best before dates, people say, well, it's no point me stocking up on the food because it's only have a couple of years of date on the tin, so when it kind of approaches that, you have to throw it away. Well, guys, in fact, it is not. Best before, it only literally stands for best before in terms of quality and not safety. All of the products that have best before date are safe to consume, providing tins are not expanded or food is not moldy. If it's best before, it's just to preserve its quality, not safety. So you don't have to worry, guys. I've eaten many tins that past their due by 4 years. And again, so long as you check before you consume, make sure there is no dents or things that are not bulging or not making smells or any sort of sounds when you open it, you'll be absolutely fine. And this is, guys, not just counting for tins, this also for another foods that have a best before date. Use by date, this is the date you have to worry about, but this is generally on the chilled products. So next on the list, guys, is that storing or buying extra food is a waste of money. It is floats about in all the communities, again, because a lot of people think that the dates on the tins will mean that the food have to be then thrown away. However, as we established, this is not the case. In general, saying the preparedness is waste of money, well, it's totally a myth, guys. Because when you buy this food, especially if you buy the food that you eat all the time, it's like an insurance. Whether you choose to rotate this or not, or many people just buy food and literally put them away in the emergency, it is there as a safety net. If you imagine how much money you pay for house insurance, you pay for the car insurance, you don't pay any of those insurances thinking that something is going to happen. No, you just pay this anyway. And even, guys, even if you, for example, the tins, even if they've run out of date, okay, and you feel that you really don't want to consume them, if you spend, okay, £100 a year and you put this away and you know it's there for a few years sitting there, protecting your family for an event. If you're not able to go out to the supermarket for a week or so, you spend £100, okay? It is there as an insurance. Even if you decide to then give this food away, it serves you the purpose of peace of mind. Another one, common one, guys, you'll never have enough food to last your lifetime. Yes, guys, of course you don't. But again, comes down to what exactly are you preparing for? We're not all preparing for the end of the world. None of us even probably could possibly comprehend what it could be if you don't have, any food or supermarkets available for us for years and years and years. An average prepper trying to strive for between 1 to probably 5, maybe 10 years of storage. But yes, guys, you can never have enough food to last you a lifetime. However, the whole idea is of preparedness, because the chances are there'll be loads more little SHTF happening potentially before the huge SHTF ever used to happen. So having all that food there will protect you for those small instances. And at the same time, it will buy you some time. If you do then, guys, end up have to be growing stuff, at least you have some food to tie you over through whatever period you choose to stock up to. Right, the next one, again, we're talking about people think that you should only stock your pantry in terms of like dry goods and tins. Again, guys, I totally disagree, and I've been obviously telling you this on my few recent videos. Yes, of course, rices, pastas, beans, all the long-term stuff that will sit in the Mylar bags for a lifetime with oxygen absorber, it is a key prepping items. Tins are super important as a prepping item as well. But guys, don't forget as well, things like fresh fruits and the freezer items are also very important, because again, the SHTF scenario or whatever scenario that is happening, it's not necessarily means that we have to resort to eating all those dried goods, because there are other times, guys, when something might not be available, or could be many instances where we can't go to supermarkets, or we're not allowed to go to supermarkets, or whatever else. You have a fresh food, or in fact frozen food, in the freezer. And at the same time with the fresh goods as well, things like potatoes, onions and garlic, they'll sit in a cold, dark place for a good few months. So it is very important, guys, to stock up in all aspects of your preps and not just tins and dry goods. So next one, guys, is quite a common one. Again, people say, well, I don't have a space to prep. Well, guys, you have to be really adventurous with that kind of thing. The main key, okay, to remember with the storing food, be it the tins or dried goods, is to make sure it is in a cool, dark and dry place. This is your key points, because whatever you store in, be it pastas or rices or tins, they all get affected by temperatures and lights. Well, some or the other, vice versa. So it is very important just to find that place that you can store something. The main thing for me would be cool, okay, so maybe a cool corner of the room. Don't forget, because you can create or you can eliminate, in fact, light by putting food in the boxes or things like that. So you just have to think outside the box a little bit and find those places. Things like kitchens under the plinth, kitchens on the top of the cupboards if you've got space in a room in between, back of your wardrobe, spare room. There are many places, guys, you can sneak in few things. Just bear in mind that you cannot have this in a very hot rooms or next to the radiators. That's the only things you got to consider, guys. But yes, you can find places. So next one, guys, we're talking about the Mylar bags, okay? Many people think that if you just put anything or any food in a Mylar bag with the oxygen absorber, the food will last you forever. Well, unfortunately, guys, this is not the case, and there are certain rules you have to adhere to when doing so. Things like flours and rices and oats, they will do very well with oxygen absorber in a Mylar bag, and they will sit there for a very long time. However, guys, it is very important to know that anything they put that have 10% or more in moisture, things like sun-dried tomatoes, are not allowed to go into the Mylar bags because of the botulism. Also, things like high-fat items, things like nuts, again, putting them in the Mylar bag is not going to save them for a very long time. They will not last forever just because it's in a Mylar bag. Again, guys, I've done many videos and I put some links probably up there or down in the description for the things and what I store in the Mylar bags, what you can or cannot do. Because if you do, unfortunately, put some certain things in the Mylar bags with the oxygen absorber, it could be unfortunately fatal. Next thing, guys, let's talk about the oxygen absorber. Again, a lot of people seem to think that you put in oxygen absorber in a packet, be it any glass jar or the Mylar bag, and it's going to solve your problem of food spoilage. Again, it is wrong. First of all, there's two things that people confuse, is oxygen absorber and a moisture absorber. Moisture absorber is a silica gel which normally comes in things like handbags and other new packages, which absorbs the moisture from the air. Oxygen absorber only takes oxygen out of the packet. It would not take any moisture. So if you have a jar of a dehydrated fruit or vegetables, by you putting the oxygen absorber in, if that product is not fully dry, the oxygen absorber is not going to save your produce because it will still mold. So it is very important to know that you use oxygen absorbers with dry goods and make sure they're fully dried before sealing it. So another one, guys, is a little bit odd one. It did appear a couple of times, but people think that putting oxygen absorber into the sugar or salt will make them last indefinitely. Yes, guys, you totally don't even need to do this. This is the misconception. Salt and sugar will be absolutely fine as they are. All you got to do, make sure you put them in a sort of tub, not a cardboard, because they will absorb the moisture. But anything plastic, anything sturdy that the rodents can't get in there, and you're fine. You don't need to waste your money on an oxygen absorber. And the same, guys, goes for the pasta. You do not need to use oxygen absorber with your pastas. And guys, the last but not least, and they might rattle some cages, but MREs. We're talking about this kind of the army ration MREs. There is a lot of misconception there that people say the MREs last forever. Well, guys, let me tell you, they do not. Unfortunately, they've been produced and designed to be kept for approximately 5 to 7 years. Similar to the tins, guys, okay, it all depends on the storage. So if the MREs are kept in a really hot condition, it will spoil far quicker. They do not go through the same process as tins when they produce them. This is why they will not last forever. And there is really frustrating, but is a lot of information there to say, yeah, you just buy them and they sit there for 20, 30 years. They're not designed to last you 20 or 30 years. They might last you a few years past the date, but it would not last you a lifetime. And again, guys, one of the main reasons, as I mentioned, is temperature and the humidity. Depends obviously where they are stored, but you know where the things are coming from, but you don't know where they've been stored and how they've been stored. I quite often see people say on the shows, they sell them in a really, really hot weather, sunshine beaming on that right away and heating everything inside. That will not make that last you a lifetime. So this is going to be my last one. I know probably going to irritate some people, but this is fact. I've done a lot of research on that, and no guys, those things do not last forever. They're quite expensive, so if you do buy them for, you know, fairly imminent few years thing, then absolutely great. If you're buying them to sit there for 20, 30 years, then I wouldn't waste your money. So there we are. So guys, here we are. I didn't beat this around the bush. I just wanted to go through and just point out certain facts. So I do really hope they enjoyed the video. I think I might bring in a part 2, certainly, because I'm pretty sure there's loads of other misconceptions of the food storage is about, but they'll be at a later date. Nonetheless, guys, if you really enjoyed the video, please don't forget to thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe. I have like 43,000 of you watching me every month, and I only have like 1/4 of you actually subscribed. So if you do watch it, please subscribe to the channel, click the notification button, and that's that. So thank you, and I see you soon. Bye bye.